Welcome to another episode of Weight Loss with Dr. A.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Weight Loss with Dr. A. And on this episode, Erika's here with me. And Erika, today's subject is going to be a very interesting subject. This is a subject you'll see a lot online. This is a subject you'll see a lot on social media boards, pages, groups, and anything pretty much related to weight loss. And the reason is we're going to be talking about weight loss stalls or plateaus, right? And it's a very common subject. This is something we see on weight loss surgery patients. This is something we see on gastric sleeve patients. This is something we should even expect on patients that just simply diet, and they go on a diet, they start losing some weight, they cut their calories, they cut their exercising, and then all of a sudden it stops, right? So Erika, what do you want to start off with? I think it's a great subject. We can probably go on for a long time here. We'll try to keep it precise and convenient. Yes. So go ahead.
So I think it's important to remember that this is not only something that happens to patients with the sleeve, it happens to all of us. Like you were saying in the beginning, it doesn't happen just to certain people, it happens to all of us that are trying to lose weight. And I think that especially with patients, I do notice very often in the Facebook group that they say, I'm not losing weight or I'm in a stall. Is probably because I'm doing something wrong. And they create this kind of guilt, and they feel that they have to take extreme measures just to start losing weight again, and it doesn't have to be like that. I think that one of the main problems that comes with the stalls is the idea that you will always be losing weight every single day, every single week, and that is not something that is achievable or that is easy to maintain.
Or even healthy.
Or even healthy.
Yes. So it's very important for you to understand that weight stalls are expected. Weight stalls are needed. Weight stalls are convenient and healthy for your body. Very important. We are expecting these stalls for your body to adapt to a new weight, because your body will go under certain adjustments. It will adjust your blood volume, it will adjust your liver functions, it will adjust pretty much kidney functions, it will adjust a whole bunch of pulmonary functions, a lot of functions in your body that will now be adjusted to your new set weight. Your body stalls for a while, adapts, and it will continue. But as Erika's mentioning, it's not that you're doing something wrong, because as Erika mentions, patients come back to us and say, well, I'm pretty much eating the same way. I'm pretty much eating the same amount of calories. I'm pretty much exercising regularly. So what's going on? I mean, I don't see the scale move anymore, or it hasn't moved for a bit, right?
Yes. And I think it's very important to understand that yes, the plateaus are necessary and they're expected, but as well there's little things that we might be doing that we don't really notice, and that they could really have a good effect on getting out of the plateau. So for example, a very common thing is that over time we tend to get a little bit more comfortable with food and we stop tracking our calories. We forget about protein, we forget about hydration, and we start focusing on other things. So tracking your calories is something that could come convenient and that could help you get out of the stall a little bit easier.
So it's very important. What Erika's mentioning is for you to reassess your habits, reassess your eating habits, reassess your exercise habits, reassess what you're doing, because as Erika's mentioning, you might lose track because I've been losing weight, because the scale is moving, because I am kicking some butt here and I'm doing really good, and you may lose track. So at that point, of course, the scale might stop moving, and that's a good time to reassess your habits. Now, it's very important for you to understand that when you get weight loss surgery or when you decide to diet, yes, the scale might move quickly, may move rapidly right away, and you're like, yes, we're doing really good. Everybody gets motivated, everybody's happy, and all of a sudden it stalls. But let me tell you a little bit about the main reason is because when you decide to diet, when you decide to have weight loss surgery, you're pretty much getting rid of glycogen. Glycogen is a sort of carbohydrate that is stored in your body, mainly stored in your liver, mainly stored in your muscle. And when you get rid of that glycogen, water goes along with it. So pretty much the initial weight you lose comes from water. So it is important for you to understand, yes, you see the scale move, it's going, you're doing good, but it mainly comes from water.
It's not fat.
It's not fat, it's not real fat. Now that you mentioned fat, when you get going with the fat, when you get rid of the glycogen, now your body's looking for that stored energy, which is stored fat. You may also lose some muscle during the weight loss process, and muscle is in charge of your burning rate, how much calories you're burning. The more muscle you have, it is easier for you to burn calories. But when you get on the weight loss train, you're burning your fat, you're also burning some protein in your muscle, and of course your rate of burning calories lowers as well. Your metabolism lowers. So it's not going to be as easy to see the scale move a little bit further out. So as Erika's mentioning, and I'm sorry I interrupted you, it is very important, I wanted to mention this, it's very important to reassess your habits.
And as well, I mean, taking what you were saying with the muscle building and the metabolism slowing down, I do see a lot of patients really focusing on cardio and not really lifting some weight. And you don't really have to go bodybuilding style at this point, but you could start lifting a little bit of weights, building a little bit more of muscle, and not just focusing on cardio all the time in order to get your metabolism start again.
Yes, and that's very important. When you reassess your habits, including your exercise habits, you need to understand what you're doing. But doctor, I go walking 30 minutes a day. Well, you've probably done that for some weeks or maybe months now, and now you've hit a stall. And you need to reassess that, and maybe you need to incorporate more, some weight resistance. Because weight resistance, as Erika's mentioning, you will be activating muscles. By activating muscles, that means you're going to be protecting those muscles while you're losing weight. The muscles will be there. The muscles also help with metabolism, with insulin resistance, and many other things. But mostly, they'll speed up your metabolism to help you get going.
And before I forget, taking those 2 points, the tracking your calories and start working out, it is very important to do those things at a time, because I have noticed that we tend to overestimate the amount of calories that we burn, and we underestimate the amount of calories in food. We think that we're burning a lot just going for a 30-minute walk, and we don't really think that food has many calories in it. You're just saying, oh yeah, it's chicken, oh yeah, it's vegetables, oh it's coconut oil, everything is healthy. But everything has calories.
Everything has calories, yes. Or you're busting your butt off doing cardio or at the gym for an hour or whatever, and on your way back you stop at Starbucks for a very high calorie drink.
That you may not realize that it's so high calorie, or you may stop in fast food just because you think that you deserve that meal because you work pretty hard. And yeah, there's a space for a little bit of a cheat meal, but not going in a whole rant the whole day, just eating whatever you please just because you are working out.
Okay, so we come to the conclusion that we need to reassess our habits. We need to count our calories, keep track, and for that, what do you recommend for that?
For weight loss, you mean the app? Or?
The app is good. I like the app. I use the app.
Yeah, you could do the app, or you can start with a journal. But as long as you are keeping track of your calories, then you can move to tracking your macros a little bit easier, which I think the app comes very handy with that. But as long as you're between the 800 to 1,000 calories in the beginning for weight loss, I think it will come very easily.
Now, it's very important for you to understand not to go under a certain amount of calories. You don't have to starve to death. I mean, it's not necessary, because then it goes the other way. Then you're going to be starving. You're going to be overeating whenever you get a chance. You're going to be having bad decisions when you sit down to regarding food. So keep it at a healthy zone. I would suggest you track your calories. You also increase, well, here goes, the exercise. Everybody needs exercise, a little bit of maybe 30 minutes of exercise every day. But at a certain point, you may need to burn more calories, as Erika's mentioning. So therefore, you're going to be needing, let's say, those 30 minutes, but you'll probably need them to be more intense. So you'll have to make those exercise regimens more intense, those 30 minutes more intense, more explosive, or maybe 30 minutes is not enough anymore. Maybe you got to pick it up to 45 minutes or an hour. You know, maybe you need a longer workout to burn more calories and make that scale move, or maybe you've got to increase your frequency as well. So maybe I see it at the gym. I mean, I see people whenever they're getting, I mean, I don't compete or anything like that. I just do it for healthy reasons. But I see people at the gym when they're ready to start competing, and they start going twice a day. I mean, they increase the frequency, the intensity. They're counting their macros, they're counting the amount of water intake, and of course, it's the last run and the last streak there before they
go into stage.
Exactly. So that's what they do. What you can do, I don't want you to be on stage and competing. You don't have to. But what you can do is increase the frequency, or maybe just the intensity, or maybe just the duration of it, and that will make the skill move.
Yes, again. And as well, I do recommend patients, if you have 15 minutes in the morning, try to do a little bit of fasting cardio. You don't have to go too crazy with it. You can go for a nice run, or you can jump the rope, or you can do maybe a YouTube video on HIIT exercises, high intensity intervals. Just 15 minutes in the morning, and then maybe later in the day you can go to the gym and have a little bit more of a routine. And that could help you lose fat a little bit easier too. Yeah,
those HIIT, H-I-I-T exercises that Erika's mentioning, I mean, those kick my butt nicely. And if you don't know what they are, you can Google them, or just go to YouTube, and you'll see they're exercises designed for a short period of time, very high intensity, and believe me, they will skyrocket your heart rate right away and make you burn calories in a short period of time. That's what they're designed to do. If you don't have enough time, 15 minutes, believe me, I mean, you'll be sweating. So, but different types of exercises, maybe change the routine of your exercise, maybe change the frequency, the intensity. All these little tricks will make the scale move along. Now, my message would be, please, if you hit a stall, because massive weight loss surgery, you will hit not just one, you'll hit several stalls.
Yes.
Expected, normal, needed. So please don't let a stall become an avalanche for you, because I see patients that, I mean, it gets to you, and all you have to do is keep doing what you're doing. reassess and modify and keep going. All right, don't think, oh, I've hit a stall, I am a failure again, because you've tried several other weight loss programs and it gets to you. It doesn't have to be that way. So just reassess what you're doing and keep going forward and moving along.
And something that I have noticed as you are telling, people think that they're failures because the scale is not moving, but the scale is not the only thing that it could be a measure for the success. I do advise patients to take measurements, maybe start fitting in different clothes, or just the fact that you are actually healthier, that your lab work is coming a little bit more clear than before. All of those things are
good measurements.
Yes. It doesn't have to be just
the scale.
The scale.
Yeah.
Yes.
It could be your labs. It could be, hell, it could be the amount of medications you used to take. Now you've cut them to half. Maybe now you dropped them all completely. That is a goal. That is an achievement. That is good. But yeah, maybe it's the way your shirt feels. Maybe it's the way your clothes fit. All these little details.
All those little things. The other thing that I notice a lot is that patients getting to maybe in the first phases of the post-op diet, and they don't check how much sugar they're consuming throughout the day. And that could be a problem. I do get a lot of patients 2-3 years out of the surgery and they're still drinking a lot of Gatorade, they're drinking soda, they're drinking juices, and it's a lot of hidden sugar that you might not be accounting for, and it's a lot of calories that you could be eating a decent meal for, but you go for the sugar. So that could be a reason why you're struggling.
And that is where your app, your tracker can help you. And when you type it in, it'll just open your eyes and say, wow, I thought I was juicing and it was healthy. Well, you don't have an idea how many calories that juice may actually have.
Again, going back to the point that we made in other podcasts, just because it's healthy doesn't mean that it doesn't have calories.
Correct.
Yes, you can overeat even healthy foods.
Yes. So be very aware what you're eating. When you decide to get on the weight loss train, you need to understand that carbs, sugars, you need to cut them down greatly, all right? Because they're pretty much in everything now that we, nowadays, food is available in every corner. I mean, everywhere you stop, you'll see carbs. And it adds up, as Erika's mentioning, it adds up so quickly. And by adding up, it adds up calories so quickly that it will not let you lose weight.
Yes. And as well, I have noticed a lot going online and looking at what the patients are doing. There's this whole idea of that you can reset your sleep, and I guess it's a fair idea. It's a type of diet, pretty much, and there's very different types, and some of them could be very intense of just being in liquid phase or going back to just drinking liquids for 2-3 weeks. Some other resets could be for maybe just a week. So I guess it could be an option, but it doesn't have to be as intense like that.
I want to mention that this is totally different. Resetting the sleeve is totally different than what most people think, that you're actually making your sleeve small again in size, because I've seen it a lot. I want to reset my pouch. I want to reset my sleeve. That does not exist. What you're actually doing, as Erika's mentioning, is you're reassessing and adjusting and modifying, because what you're used to, you want to get going back on the weight loss. Well, your sleeve is in there. Your tool will always be with you. You can always make use of it, but you have to assess. Let's say I've been gaining weight where I'm at a plateau. I've had my, I'll give you an example. I've had my sleeve for 5 years or 8 years or 10 years, and I want to reset my sleeve. Well, if you go on a liquid diet for 2 or 3 weeks, as Erika's mentioning, what you're actually doing is cutting the amount of calories per day. So what we were mentioning a few minutes ago, you're cutting down on your calories, and of course the scale moves. But as Erika's mentioning, it doesn't have to be that way. You can also see a nutritionist, see professional help, and see a nice meal plan that you can actually follow, easy for you, and still see the scale move, because you're cutting down calories. They do a nice tricky job to actually be cutting down on the amount of calories per day. You don't even notice it. That's their job, but it works. It works, and you're not like suffering. Oh, I got to do liquids, you know, or oh, I missed. No, you can actually. They spread out the meals nicely throughout the day, so that way hunger is taken care of, and you're not like very antsy throughout the day with trying to eat cheat meals or bad food choices.
Yes, and pretty much just looking at the examples of the resetting diets, in essence, they were all the same. They were telling you to focus on your protein intake, not drinking any sugar, maybe avoiding unnecessary snacks or meals, or just eating throughout the day just because you're feeling anxious, drinking enough water, doing some exercise. It's the basic idea of a diet, but just remarketed just to make it more attractive.
Yeah. So let's give it another name. I don't want to I don't like the term resetting the sleeve, because people actually think they're actually resetting the pouch, the size of the sleeve, and what you're actually doing is more resetting your weight loss. So what you're doing is get it going again with modifying your meal plan, the calories you're intaking, your activity you're doing, your exercise that you're doing, and you're going again. All right, so it's not resetting the sleeve. The sleeve won't shrink, won't get bigger. It's already a certain size. You need to use that sleeve the size it is. It's done, it's crafted that way, and you need to modify the rest of your lifestyle.
Reset the habits.
To get going with that weight stall. Yes. Anything else you'd want to add here?
Not really. I think that we cover the main concerns that patients had, and I just really like to remind patients that just because the scale is not moving doesn't mean that they are a failure, because I do see it pretty often in my private practice. I do see it pretty often when I meet the patients here at the hospital. So I don't like that. I do see them pretty sad because they feel like their efforts are not good enough, and they are.
Yes. And maybe just one last comment. We're also forgetting one last thing. That's my last message. We talked about modifying your calorie intake and lowering that. We talked about the frequency, the intensity, duration of the exercise, and we're also forgetting one last thing. You can also pack more activity to your day. Pack more activity. Take the stairs. I mean, park your car a little further out. I mean, further away. Take a nice stroll. Take walk. Stand more. Don't be sitting down for long periods of time at the computer. All of these little things help throughout the day. They add up, and the result is for you to get going with the weight loss.
Yes, and actually make it into a lifestyle, not just a diet. This should be a way. The sleeve, it's a tool to start your new lifestyle. It shouldn't be the only thing that you're relying for all the time to be losing weight.
It's for your life. It's for your life to get on that train and move forward.
Yes.
Lifestyle, habits, assess. All right? Anything else?
That will be all.
I like this episode. It was a really good episode. All right, so Erika Martinez, and I'm Dr. Alvarez with Endobariatric. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next episode.